waiting. Well, we'll actually have to- All right, I'm gonna tell you one more story. One night, I know y'all all remember Andy Cutting, Donnie Cruz, Eugene Carter, James Carter, who else? Sam Collins, and myself. It was six of them. And we were doing our usual thing. We had stopped in there and got our usual ammunition. And Andy Cutting was driving, Johnny was sitting in the seat next to him. And we were over in Martinsville around the well, and Donnie kept taking his knee and pushing it up against the steering wheel, so Andy couldn't turn the wheel. And started to make Andy mad. Well, he comes up, and you're familiar with Circle Court, and where it crosses Reeves Road. If you come around Harrison, you come to the stop sign, right there's Reeves Road. And Andy finally said, Johnny, I'm gonna drive so fast, you're gonna be scared to put your knee on the wheel. Well, he floored it right there. Well, there's two big dents, and you go, then you go over Circle Court and go down the hill. And Andy didn't know that. When he went down the hill, he hit the brakes. The streets of the car flipped upside down and landed over that hole in front of the some yard. So we're all in there, we're trying to throw the beer out, we're trying, the bottles are smoking, we afraid it was gonna catch on fire, and he couldn't get out because the door handles wouldn't work. The car's upside down, we're in here, man, this ain't gonna catch on fire, what are we gonna do? Well, out of nowhere, I don't even remember Bobby laughing or not, but he walked up to the car. He just walked up, opened the door, pulled it up. We were pulling the handles the wrong way because the car was upside down. That's true. This was the time that pretty much the same group, we used to go around Marvel and pick up for sale signs. And we would put them in somebody else's yard, or the president from the high school, or whatever. And we had made a round. Ross was driving that night. Ross said, I don't know if he's still on here or not. Is Ross still on? Chris, is Ross still on? Jim Joyce, okay. Well, he wasn't with us that night. Anyway, we had gotten our usual family of signs, and Ross was driving a loaner car that they were having their car worked on. His family was, and it was I think it was like an old 1953 Oldsmobile or something. So we had made a big haul of signs, and we stopped down on one of the streets in Hartwell, and it was a dead end. So Eugene jumps out, and it had a bunch of barricades. He decided he wanted to push all the barricades over the hill. Well, it just happened to be in front of a house where a city police lived. We saw the light go on. We jumped in the car and ran. Well, it wasn't long before the cops pulled us over. They took us up. Bowler Jack was still the captain. And they took us all into the jail. Not the jail, into the office and seated us down there. One by one, they questioned us. Well, he got to Sandy and he put them in. He said, you guys are really lucky that guy, my officer could have shot you, and Bill Collins would be over here, would be taking you away. Now, what's your name? Sam Collins. Get a lot of stuff, a lot of fun. But I know some of y'all got stories like that. If you like to tell them, please. But we're almost dating. We're almost there. It doesn't matter anymore. We used to wear stuff. Any stories out there? Anybody want to tell? Anybody want to? Yeah, John.
Well, I'm just thinking about all the stuff that's going on in New York City and all the violence and everything, and growing up in Town, the only thing that we did mischief wise was on Halloween night. A guy named Rufus Chitwood lived on the corner of Main Street and Church Street, and his outhouse was a little too close to the road, and we'd turn it over every now and then. That's about our violence.
I think probably Jimmy Underwood could tell us some stories about going up the river and turning over outhouses, couldn't he?
No, I don't know. I don't care how old you are.
Not in my,
I try to think let me think about it. Give it to somebody else.
Or if somebody wants to bear their soul here.
I'll take it.
Okay, here, Frank.
I didn't live downtown, I lived out the country. On Halloween night, go downtown and get with boys. We go all over Riverside Drive, up and down there. And, knock on people's doors and run and stuff like that. One guy had an idea, I think it was Underwood, said like, let's get some dog food and put it in a bag. And he said, we're picking up on the porch, I said, now, put it on fire. We did. This guy come running out the door. He talked about the people split. We split.
You're not saying they stomped the fire out.
No. That shotgun.
Uh-oh. All right, well, I'm out of storage. Anybody got any? Surely somebody has a story. Sure.
I got a lot of them. But I'm not in.
What did the girls do? Kyle, come on. Didn't we grow up in a great time?
Yes. The best.
There weren't any drugs. Marijuana was something that was a devil in the New York City. We didn't know what marijuana was. That was legal. You know, I don't want to get on soapbox here, but it's really dangerous. It's a dangerous situation we live in today. We're so fortunate to have come up in the time that we did. I'm not sure. I want to see what happens in the next 50 years.
Amen, brother.
You'd be surprised how much marijuana they have.
I did have LSD around here, anything of Charles name now, but they just came right from us. Somebody put some in her drink at school and totally messed her up.
Yeah, well, now they give it to the 6-year-olds.
Places we used to go by Gabriel, Mark, the places we used to go up on Mammies. Mammies up there, Mammies, right before you get that barn. It's so, there goes. Yeah, that whole restaurant right there. Huh? We used to get the 16 years old. Gabriel.
Somebody can hear you.
Oh, that reminds me of another story. I'm gonna tell you one more thing. Do y'all remember Madras shorts? Everybody had Madras shorts. Well, in the summer, they were always checkered and they were called Madras, and they were the long commuter shorts you had. And this was another trip we had gone out to in search of of liquid refreshment. And we went up to the Stones Dairy Bar. And that usually, we could just walk right in there and buy it and walk out. And, I went in with my usual bold self, and I had on my Maverick shorts. And, went up, ordered some beer, and they said, well, you're gonna have to show some ID, which I was really disappointed, because didn't have to do that before. So I started to walk out, this old guy we had on dungarees, looked like a sawmill, he's in there drinking a beer, and he said, hey, Sonny boy, come over and sit on my knee for a while. I did. I can remember Harris. Every time you circle through Harris, and then back to Parkmore, and then back to Donald's, and then back to Martinsville, and go through Harris, and then back to Parkmore. We could make 20 trips a night
Oh, yeah.
and burn out at every one of them, every one of them. Wasn't those great times?
Yes.
Talk hoppers, and things like that.
How many of you remember going in upstairs at Parkmore,
Oh, yeah.
and the floor would dip up and down with to the music where everybody was dancing? Literally the floor was bouncing. I don't know how it kept from collapsing,
That's right.
but literally, you never went to Parkmore?
God.
Oh, you
Right.
missed it. Does everybody remember Parkmore?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't remember Parkmore? It's where the bank is now. It was on the left going south. It was a drive-in restaurant. They had the restaurant on the first floor, and then they had a party room on the second floor. You were a good girl.
Give me one now with old Park boy upstairs, loose dancing and drinking and carrying on. And we left and went out and got in the car. We must have thought one of these guys' girlfriends, because they come out and missed a meeting. And we got in Jim's car. The guy said, "Look, shoot that light." And had the dome light inside the car. The guy pulled out a pistol and said, "Shoot that light out, shoot that light out." I said, "Oh, hell, we gonna get shot." He didn't shoot out. I don't know how we got out of there, but we did. But the guy was gonna shoot the light out. I thought it might shoot us. And talking about that game breed, I remember one time we was going down, I believe seniors going to UVA to watch a football game, and I was riding the sand, and it was four of us in the car. We started breaking that game breed, and right before we got to Charlottesville, I got sick. I threw up all over the side, sitting in his car, looked down through there. We got to his cousin, something. Cause he was from UVA, we went over his house, he fixed us some martini, which I never had one. That thing burned all the way down. Bill was playing far. Okay.
Yes.
All right, we got another story over here.
Going to Sandy Collins's for his birthday celebration at Sandy's, and he always went to the field home. The field home.
We played hide and seek.
Hide and seek, and it was so scary. Think about being in that field home. We loved to go down there. I just didn't want to stay. It was so fun. Do y'all not remember going to his birthday parties? Well, I was privileged. We're good.
How you feel about how?
Okay. It's a lot I don't remember. That was fun.
Well, I'm gonna give you one more soul searching program, and then I'm done. You remember the rhythm band back in the second grade? Anybody ever play in the rhythm band? They had the triangles, they had the drums, they had the sticks you rub together, and it would make you line up. And there was only one drum. Okay, and it was a real treat to get to play the drum. You didn't get to play the drum very often, but it was a real treat to get to play the drum. This was in Ms. Boyd's second grade rhythm band. You probably played the same rhythm band I did then. But anyway, this one particular day, it was my turn to play the drum. And boy, I was so happy to play that drum. I was just standing there in line. And we started out a music, I hadn't gone to the bathroom. And I didn't want to give up my opportunity to play with the drum. Well, back in those days, you wore really baggy pants. So I'm standing there like this, and I have to go. I just making a little puddle on the floor and nobody noticed. But you know how when you kind of scoot, everybody scoot with you. So I got away from the puddle. Just get back to me, it got over me. The big boy saw that. He beat that kid unmercifully. Because he had made the puddle. Didn't ever get there. Okay, Philip Boss, was it? Philip Boss? No, Philip Burnham was the head of it. I think it was Philip Boss, I think. So she gave him a whipping because he didn't make the puddle. I'm telling y'all now, I'm very much.
In elementary school, I don't remember the grade, but, we were supposed to bring a boiled egg to school. And for some reason, something happened to my egg. It was either not boiled and broke, or I forgot it. Well, I took Sammy Collins' eggs. Stolen. And fortunately, he had a relative working in the kitchen, so he could get another egg. I don't think I planned it, but it has just really occurred to me that I stole an egg. Anybody else think it was something they did?
Paper yesterday, and I came across this article. This paper was 1957, and we were in the 7th grade at the time. And this was the Maypole event. And right here, and she's not here tonight. I was going to present this to her, but Judy Ramsey Hagan was the queen of the Maypole dance that day. So if any of you, I'm gonna lay it over here on the table. If any of you would like to see it, you'll recognize some of the names that were first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth graders. Anyway, if you'd like to take a look at it, you might want to pass it around. Really interesting stuff. Pardon? Yeah, that's right. Hey, Jimmy Underwood's mother. As a matter of fact, give her credit for this picture over here. Those came out of the Markville Bulletin, and that's you framed, you see there, with all of your pictures in it. That killed me, yeah. The preacher's son. They're right next door, the last house before you get to County Court. That reminds me of another story. This was it. Do y'all remember when they were building the new playground in the school and all that grading was going on? And they had these banks, and they were the best banks to slide down. And what we would do, we would all go out to the water fountain before we get a mouthful of all the water we could hold, and go out and spit it on that bank to make it slip. And then we would slide down the bank. And it was fun, you could really like run on the sled. We'd slide down that bank, we do that all during recess. Until Ms. Hill called on. And when we came in recess, she would check everybody's boat to see if there was red mud on it. If you did, you got to pat it. Speaking of patting, how many of you have been over the sink while walking on the gym floor in your street shoes? That was automatic 3 licks. Jim Akers was spoken for. That was automatic 3 licks. If you walk on the gym floor in your street shoes, automatic 3 licks. Bend over the sink, 3 licks.
I don't paddle, I had holes in it.
Yeah, that's right.
No wind system.
Exactly. I talked to Jim's son, and Dickie, and he still has that power. We probably all tasted that.
This grammar class, I got caught chewing gum. And she had a thought I was. Y'all remember that? I will never live this one down. I couldn't, I thought my mom and daddy would kill me. Chewing gum.
Hey, Wes,
That's because we all stuck it on the bottom of the seat and the guy had to clean it off with a scraper. Oh, you were saving it for the next day.
hey, Wes,
What these great times. So much fun. We got one?
There's a story down here.
Okay.
hey, Wes,
How many of you girls remember being in 6th grade? We were lined up in the cafeteria going to get our lunch, and we all had on lipstick. And we got sent to the principal's office, Mr. Waleski. No, we wore lipstick because the 7th grade girls wore lipstick, and we thought we could too. If they could, we could. It was awful. And don't you know, we had to outline 3 books. Where did we pick books? I don't remember what the name. And then bless Pat, when we got to the 8th grade in high school, there Mr. Waleski was again. He's gonna remember all of us.
Your mic, you're turned.
I never did break any rules, but somebody in that 7th grade class, the boys were so bad, we had 13 teachers that year. I will never, ever forget that class. And that's the worst math grade I ever had, was in the 7th grade. But we somehow or another, some of us decided, somebody brought lipstick. I mean, you see all the stuff that goes on, you know? And they, somebody decided that, and I said, well, yeah, my mother might have a lipstick, so I wore some the next day. I was playing the 7th grade, and I was sitting back there. But in a little bit, I forgot which of the 13 teachers was. One of them called a couple of us up there, and I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, you want to go down to the principal's office? And I said, yeah, I will. Well, I got down there, and Mr. who knew that my mother worked at the post office, he said, Carolyn, I'm very disappointed in you, of course. And he said, I'm going to tell your mother. And I said, oh, please don't tell her. And he said, well, I won't if you'll outline his book. He's got this big. And I outlined half of the thing and took it down there to him, and come to find out, some of the other girls, I don't know if it was you or not, some of the other girls didn't outline anything. And I was doing that at home, and my mother saw me. She said, is that homework? And I said, yeah. And so then when I carried it to him, he said, well, thank you very much. And then I found out some of the other girls didn't outline their outline. Oh, great.
Oh, no. How many of you had Dixie Maddox in the 6th grade? Anybody? Did you ever have to follow a football team? You remember she used to make us look up the score and bring it in on Monday mornings, the score. You had to pick a football team And you had to watch the score and you had to get it out of the paper on Sunday and bring it in on Monday morning. Remember that? Do you ever remember that?
My team was on, I had big problem.
Yeah, I had Georgia Tech. Yeah, we had to take the score in every Monday morning. But she made a lot of us realize it was more to life than this Bassett High School or Bassett Elementary School, excuse me, Campbell Ford Elementary School. I've gotten long-winded. It's 8 o'clock. And it's time for our good friends. Stan Stigall, wave at the crowd.
How you doing?
Stan has played with the Temptations before. He set up the horns. These four musicians, and you all know Carlton, these four musicians are gonna play a few songs. They go by the name of Southern Express. And feel free to dance, feel free to sit there and listen, whatever you like to do. But I promise you, you're gonna enjoy, they're gonna play a few songs and then Legacy will come out and you will really enjoy them. So with that, I will be quiet now. I didn't hear anybody sigh.
We know it's gonna be hard.
All right, let me turn in my mic. With that, the entertainment will begin.
Good evening, Martinsville. Are you ready to party a little bit? Because we're going to take you back to 1962. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody. It's good to see you here at the high school reunion. We got one coming up next year. I want to just say, we do this everywhere before we bring. Have any of you people, have you ever seen the Legacy Motown Review? Well, you got a treat coming up. Before we bring them out though, we take this time, every time we go somewhere, to honor all of our veterans. So if you've ever been in the military, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Seabees, whatever, past or present, if you're an emergency medical worker, a police officer, a fireman, just raise your hand. Thank you for your service. Y'all come on out and dance. This is from the motion picture Good Morning Vietnam. The late great Louis Armstrong. Nobody does it like Louis, so we'll go back straight up. Red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see stars of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the warm sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Once again, Mr. Carl Wilkes on the tenor saxophone. Colors on the rain, so pretty in the sky, all on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. There is saying, I love you. I hear fly. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. From Martinsville, Virginia, Mr. Michael Hensley. From Winston-Salem, Mr. Christopher Griffin. And from Monroe, North Carolina, Mr. Tiger Tennessee. Do you like good music?
All of y'all look great now. Y'all like this music. But just do it. Keep on singing. Hey, fellas.
Thank you for the band.
How y'all doing now? Y'all all right? Y'all should be like ecstatic. Class of 1962.